Great. We have a guest with us from the city. I'm just going to skip ahead. This is Sandy Fowler. She's the Assistant City Manager. She's been with us every step of the process, essentially, from our first time out at Green Square Park and now to our current occupation site, which is in the northwest neighborhood of Cedar Rapids, intersection of 1st Street and M Avenue in the flooded area that was, adjacent to Time Check. So that's where we're occupying, and I think you have some city business you'd like to present to the GA. So
I do. I was invited to come to the meeting. I actually came out and talked to a few folks last Saturday at the site. I'm the assistant to the city manager. I should make that clarification. We don't have it. Sorry. Small clarification, but I don't want to be inaccurate. Again, my name is Sandy Fowler. I work for the City of Cedar Rapids in the City Manager's Office. One of the roles I play is actually entitled special events. We have a special events committee in the city. It's a method that we, when we heard about what you were wanting to do and what you are doing on the property at M Avenue and First, we decided we probably should reach out to you and ask that you apply for a special events permit. It's probably not, I have had some people suggest that special events is not the right moniker, maybe, and that's okay. We don't know what that moniker would be necessarily. Probably, for us, it's the easiest process we can think that it fits best into. And when we communicate with you, we might think there's a better way to do that. It's certainly not cast in stone that that's what has to be. We would use the same, it's a process, just like we did with Green Square Park. The group made application to the City of Cedar Rapids for use of Green Square Park. We send that out around to our departments that would look at the things that you're requesting to do, and then we put terms and conditions upon that use, and we issue a permit in that case that has those terms and conditions. You accept those terms and conditions and provide those things that are required in there, follow the terms and conditions in there, and we coexist with in that manner. So when you decided to move to a different location, it changed it a bit. The current location, the current site, is a residentially zoned property that's owned by the City of Cedar Rapids. So it's not a park. Some of the things that were appropriate in Green Square Park are not appropriate conditions for this piece of property. In fact, why special event doesn't feel quite right for you it would be the same for us, because there really isn't a technique or a process in place to allow use of a residentially zoned lot for a use that we can observe how you're using it. What I asked last Saturday was that the group come to consensus, whatever way you choose to do that, and submit to the city a request for use of that city property, that city lot. And we would define what that lot is. I know that you're moving around a bit, and we need to define that where you are. You would make that request. We would go through our process, and then we would work with you on those terms and conditions. And you can agree to them and accept them or not. We can negotiate those, and that's basically where we go from there. I will tell you that the terms and conditions generally affect health, safety, and welfare of both the people, your participants, the general public, and the property itself. So I don't think there would be anything terribly unreasonable. What I also provided last time, and I brought with me again today, was a sample list of conditions that we had at Green Square Park. And like I said then, not everything would apply because it's doesn't have the same use as a park, but generally there. And then the other one I know that was not on there was the use of fire. So fire in a public place, we have guidelines. I brought the recreational fire guidelines that are required on all residential properties for you. Things like, and the most important one is that any recreational fire must be attended at all times. So that's things like that. Nothing, I don't think, very onerous in my opinion. I was there last Saturday. It's Friday, and I haven't heard anything really from the group about that. We were prompted that we need need to have this communication. We communicated, I'm not hearing anything back, and it's time to do that. So what I have is a letter from the city to the group requesting that response by noon on Tuesday. So we need to see an application at City Hall, which is, and I have the address, and I have a copy of the application. It's available on the website. All of our special event requirements are on the website that you can read. That the process that we want to follow at this point, and then you can make your case, if you like, that it not be called a special event, whatever those things are, and that was what I mentioned last Saturday too, is there's an application, and I would encourage you to use the application because it prompts you to think about things, structures, fire, alcohol, people, food, tents, all those kinds of things are on that application, and it gives you some information. So we want to prompt you to answer all of the questions, but I also don't want you to be hemmed in by that application, so ask anything. Put that next piece of paper, type up notes. You know what, we're really thinking that we wanted to do X. We would really like to be able to do this on the property. We don't want this to happen on the property. Please just provide all those things. We don't want to guess what those are. I can't fill in the gaps of the things that I know just from talking with you informally. So feel free to ask anything, propose anything you'd like, and then we'll respond to that. And we'll respond promptly, I commit to you.
Direct response.
Nathan, and then I saw you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, because this is a pretty sensitive subject with a lot of the members of our group, one of the reasons that many of us are out here is because we feel that our constitutional rights have been subjected to all of these terms and conditions. We have to have permission to exercise our First Amendment rights, and so in order for us to come up with these things and see what we can move forward on this, we will probably have to have another GA with more of our members and a more formal GA. So I want to just propose that we table discussions on this until we have more of our occupied group together, and we can come up with some things to talk to the city about.
Nathan, did you have...
I just wondered, would the city be interested in an alternative to the permit where the city just lays out on paper what it is you want or will not tolerate on that property, and then present it to us to either sign or agree to, rather than us making an application for a permit?
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's directly fine. I think before we can work all this out, I think that we have to have an GA and to discuss among ourselves.
I'm just asking a
they're
question.
asking us to tell them what we want, so I think that maybe we should figure that out first.
Okay, we have a clarifying question from Mary Beth.
Yeah, just as a devil's advocate here, what would happen if they didn't want to go through that process? What would the next, I'm not clear on who owns the property.
The city of Cedar Rapids.
Okay, so if they don't go through this, what would the next step be?
It depends what, that's kind of a what-if question, and that would be hard for me to answer. It would depend on what action or inaction is taken to be able to answer that question. So I'd rather not conjecture if you did this, all these, many things that could happen.
I was just looking for any possible downsides, but...
I just think that if you're in for success for the long haul, then we need to play by their rules until we get the rules changed. So to me, if that's what they want and expect, it's okay. And it goes under, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
Still not convincing you?
We're all friends here, right? We're all part of the 99%.
Exactly, sure.
As I understand, you have a letter. I'll take that from you, so you can get that off. I think we might have a bit of a conversation about that.
I was going to say, you might want to have this without
You don't have to.
here. That is fine,
Thank you so much.
If you have any questions, please, the one thing I ended the letter on is, we wanted to give you until noon on Tuesday to submit something to the city requesting, the request to the city. We are requiring that, but in the interim, you have my cell phone number. Throughout the weekend, I know, that's 4 days from now, and frankly, I kind of work all the time, so feel free. I don't want to make that a barrier for you. If you come up with questions tomorrow, call me, and I'll try to get answers for you. I won't be able to get answers for everything, only the things I know. But we are very interested in working with you. We want to give you as much information as we can so that you can make a good request to us.
Well, thank you. I mean, we'll read this, we'll determine your position.
The application and the sample conditions from us.
Sure.
Yeah. The same things I gave you last week.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you. Wonderful. I know, I'm sorry.
What is the difference between the park that they moved out of and the current occupying site? Like how should I put it? The legal stuff and
Well,
all that?
the simple answer is that a park is a park, and that generally has defined uses for a park, and it, constitutionally has uses defined. The current site is a residentially zoned lot.
Greenway.
It's not Greenway yet. It is currently still a residentially zoned lot, just like a residential warehouse would be.
I only asked.
Clarifying
By
question.
zone.
Is it residential if no one can live there? I mean, does the being there make it more residential?
It's, we have rules or zoning rules that apply to residentially zoned lots, which is how it is defined today.
So a tent doesn't qualify as a residence?
A tent is not allowed in a residentially zoned lot by our zoning law. Now, that's why special events sometimes, we can do things through special events that you can't do every day by granting special approval. I don't want to conjecture that that's applicable here, but I'm trying to think.
But if I put a tent in my backyard, it's a residence. I mean, what's the difference?
And there are,
I guess.
and
There's not a solid structure, there's not like.
right, there are limitations in the state Cedar Rapids zoning code, and our zoning code is online and available to you always. So I would encourage you to look at that about temporary structures and on residential zone lots. And some people in the room may remember post-flood that we had this question as well. As people were rebuilding their homes, they wanted the ability to stay temporarily on their site in a structure. That's
Right.
And we had to pass a special ordinance in order to allow that, with certain conditions to allow recreational vehicles that were weatherized. And again, health, safety, welfare. Those were the conditions on even that ordinance to especially allow that. So otherwise it would not.
So, to understand that somebody who lives in a residential area, their kids can't put a tent in their backyard?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Could we expect many of the rules during the flood for people staying there to be applied to this occupation as well, or similar?
Similar. I think, during the post-flood recovery rebuilding, you had to have a valid building permit for the structure. You had to own the property, and then you had to be in a safe condition based on certain parameters. So I don't think it would apply only because you don't own the property. But good question. So seriously, you need to come and talk to us about this.
You can go.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a thing he's
I
going to do.
don't know. I just had